হয়েছে? Good morning, my dear students. Today we will discuss the lines of longitude. Last day I discussed about the lines of latitudes. Last class I told you on the globe there are two great categories of line running from either north to south or west to east. These are the lines called the lines of latitudes, and these are called the lines of longitudes. Last class we discussed detail about the characteristics of the lines of latitudes. Second, the uses of the lines of latitudes. Third, we discussed about the heat zones demarcated by the lines of latitudes, like the torrid zone. Second, the temperate zone. Third, the frigid zones. Today I am going to discuss about the line which are running from north to south. The lines running from north to south is called the lines of longitudes. So what are the lines of longitudes? The lines of longitudes are the angular distance of a place from east and west of the prime meridian. The lines of longitude is the angular distance of a place east or west of the prime meridian. This is called the lines of longitudes. So how many lines of longitudes are there? They are 360 in numbers. How many? They are 360 in numbers, and they are located every 1 degree interval. Every 1 degree interval we see total 360 numbers of lines of latitudes. Out of these 360 numbers of the lines of latitude, one is very important, what we call the prime meridian. What we call the prime meridian. Prime meridian whose values 0 degree. Prime meridian whose values 0 degree. It is like the equator. Equator also has the values of 0 degree. Prime meridian values with 0 degree. Okay, and from the prime meridian 0 to 180 degree east and 0 to 180 degree west. 180 degree west. We see total there are 360 number of lines of longitudes. Naturally, what E indicates? E indicates the east or prime meridian. What W indicates? W indicates west of prime meridian. Whenever we locate any place on the earth's surface, we need the help of both the lines of latitudes and the longitudes. The intersecting points of the lines of latitudes and the lines of longitudes gives us the exact position of a place on the earth's surface on the globe. Whether the place is located in the eastern hemisphere, whether the place is located in the western hemisphere. The prime meridian also divides the earth into two equal halves. The eastern part is called the eastern hemisphere, the western part is called the western hemisphere, equally divided into two equal halves by the prime meridian. The eastern part, eastern hemisphere, western part, western hemisphere. So if you move from 0 degree to west up to 180 degree and 0 degree to up here another 180. So total there are 360 numbers of lines of longitudes. The lines of longitudes also known as meridians. They are also known as meridians. Why are they known as meridians? because the word meridians come from the Latin word meridianum, which means noon or 12, The sun on a particular moment of time crosses the lines of longitude at noon. Any place located on that particular longitudes have the same time, that is the noon. That's why the lines of longitudes are called the meridians also. Which means the noon. Another important characteristics of the lines of longitude, they are all converges at the poles. All the lines of longitudes meets at the pole. Hence, they are semicircle or the half circle. They are not like a full circle like the lines of latitudes. They are semicircle. Not only they are semicircle, since every lines of longitudes meet at the poles, converge at the poles, they are also equal in length. If we look at the segment of the earth's surface, there are two segments. One is the east, other is the west. Individually all longitudes are semicircle, no doubt, semicircles, but one coming from east, other coming from the west, when they meet at the poles, they become a full circle. When two opposite lines of longitude meets at the pole, they become a full circle. In this sense, every lines of longitudes divides the earth into two equal halves. Hence, they are all full circle. Two opposite lines of longitudes, when they meet at the pole, keep in mind here, very interestingly, one coming from east, other coming from the west, when they meet at the pole, these two opposite diametrically lines of longitudes become a full circle, but individually all the lines of longitudes are semicircle and equal in length. Another important characteristic features of the lines of longitudes, the maximum distance between the lines of longitudes at the equator. Maximum distance between two consecutive lines of longitude at the equator. As we move from equator towards the pole, the distance between two lines of longitude decreases and ultimately they merges at the poles. So these are what? These are the characteristic features about the lines of longitudes. Okay? So every lines of longitudes meet at the poles. One coming from east, another coming from the west. They are meeting at the poles. Keep in mind here, the two opposite lines of longitude never be the same values. For example, 1 degree minus 179, 2 minus 178, 60, 120. In this way, they will meet. One will meet 179 to opposite sides. 2 degrees will meet with 178. 60 will meet with 120 degree. Except the 180 degree and 0 degree. 180 degree will meet with 0 degree. That is the prime meridian. This is the same lines of longitudes. 180 degree and 0. And this will continue and so on. This is how the two lines of longitude coming from the opposite sides meet at the poles. Another important thing, so what are the uses of lines of longitude? What are the uses of lines of longitude? I discussed last class about the uses of lines of latitude. Number one, it helps us to locate the place on the globe. Second, to determine the climate of a place. Third, also the lines of latitude help us to know about the heat zones of the earth. Similarly, the lines of longitude help us to know basically the time. There is a good relationship between the longitudes and longitude time. What is the relationship between longitude and time? As earlier I told you, the meridian, the lines of longitude also known as meridian. The lines of longitude also known as meridian. Since a particular moment of time of a day on a given longitudes, it will be noon. The places locating on that meridian have the same time, that is the noon. And all of you know the earth makes the complete circle, that is 360. It covers with 24 hours, of its own axis. The earth takes 24 hours to complete 360 circles. Naturally, if it takes 24 hours to cover 360, then how much time will it take to cover 1 degree? So which means 360 degree covers 24 into 60 hours. 24 into 60 hours. Then 1 degree covers 24 into 60 divided by 360. That means the 4 minutes. 1 degree makes a difference of time 4 minutes. If we move from 1 degree longitude to another degree, that is 2, it makes a time difference of 4 minutes. Which means that if any place there is a noon, then what will be the time? What will be the time of 15 degree east? 15 degree east. Then it will be 1 p.m. 1 degree p.m. How? 1 degree makes difference of 4 minutes. 15 degree makes difference of 4 into 15, that is 60 minutes or 1 hour. So if any place there is a 12 noon, the place located to the east with longitude 15 degree, it will be 1 hour ahead. The time will be 1 hour ahead. That means the place with 15 degrees longitudes will be 1 p.m. at that time. This is the local time. Similarly, if the place located 30 degree east, the time will be 2 p.m. and so on. This is the relation between the longitudes and the time. Then what is the formula? What is the formula? We have to keep in mind thing that how is that time may be calculated. For the purpose of memorizing, we may write this way: EGA, which means east, gain, add, and W and EGA and WLS, waste, loss, subtract. The place locating to the east of prime meridian, they will gain time. The places located west of the prime meridian, they will lose. Time have to be subtracted. If it is prime meridian with 0 degree and it is the east zone, so the place locating towards the east, time will gain. If the place situated in respect of prime meridian to the west, they lost time. That is why we call it EGA, that is places to the east, time will be added. On the other hand, places located to the west, time need to be subtracted. This is the formula when we will calculate or find out the time of any place in respect of prime meridian. Prime meridian, what is prime meridian? Prime meridian is the local meridian of Greenwich. It is the local meridian of Greenwich, which pass near London or Greenwich. That is why it is called GMT time. It is called GMT time, Greenwich Mean Time. Across the world, we always find out the time and fix our clock in respect of the time of prime meridian. So this is the reference line. On the basis of this reference line, we fix up the time across the world. This is called World Standard Time or Greenwich Mean Time or GMT. Greenwich Mean Time or GMT. So keep in mind here, 1 degree makes a difference of 4 minutes. 1 degree makes a difference of 4 minutes. This is the prime meridian. This is the prime meridian with 0 degree values. Time is here 12 noon. Now so this is India. This is India. 82.5 degree east longitude. Then what will the time of India in respect of prime meridian? How to calculate? How will you calculate? How will you find out the time of India in respect of this prime meridian when it is 12 noon? Very simple. What is the longitudinal difference? 82.5 minus 0 plus minus 0, that means 82.5. So 1 degree makes difference of 4 minutes. Then 82.5 makes difference of 82.5 into 4, that means 330 minutes or 5 hours 30 minutes. This is the time difference between London and the India. 5 hours 30 minutes time difference. Then when it is 12 noon at London, then what is the time in India? So just now I told you, India is located to the east of prime meridian. Which means that India will gain. We have to add the time. So 12 hours plus 5:30 hours. As India located to the east of prime meridian, naturally we have to add the time difference 5:30 with 12 noon. We will get 1730 hours or 5:30 p.m. 5:30 p.m. So when it is 12 noon at London, then at India it will be 5:30 p.m. So there is a 5 and 30 hours time difference between London and India. Since India located to the east of prime meridian, the time will be ahead. If the same place located towards the west of prime meridian, simply we subtracted 5:30 hours from the 12 noons. Simply. Since the place located to the west, it will lose the time. Time will be behind from London. So this is the formula to calculate the time differences between the place. So across the world, we use the prime meridian as the reference line. Whenever we calculate, we considered prime meridian as the reference line. This is the east zone, and the place, if any place located these sides, then this is the west of prime meridian. So here WLS, here EGA, east gain added, WLS west loss subtract. This is how we will calculate the time. Next important thing I am going to discuss here about the local time. About the local time. What is local time? What is local time? Local time is obtained to see the overhead sun. To see the overhead sun. Just now I told you, at a particular moment of time on a given longitude, there is a 12 noon. There is a 12 noon, and the places locating on that particular longitudes have the same time, that is the 12 noon. But local time varies. Local time varies place to place. I am giving example. 1 degree, just now I told you, 1 degree makes difference of 4 minutes. 1 degree makes difference of 4 minutes. Then if suppose the India Mumbai located 77 degree east, 77 degree east longitude, Mumbai, this is Mumbai. Delhi is located 73 degree east longitude. So what is the difference, local time difference? Simply 4 degree. 4 degree, 77, 73, 4. 1 degree makes difference of 4 minutes. Then 4 degree makes difference of 4 into 4, that is 16 minutes. 16 minutes. Both are located to the east. Both are locating towards the east, but the time difference between the Mumbai and Delhi is 16 minutes. If we see any place locating to the west, that is in Gujarat, and if you compare the places located to the east, northeast, suppose Meghalaya or Manipur or Arunachal Pradesh, there will be huge time difference, huge local time differences between the east and the west within the same country. This is the problem of what? This is the problem of the local time. Local time may confuse us. We cannot travel, we cannot move, we cannot go to office, we cannot go to airport, we cannot go to station to see the local time. If we follow the local time, either you will reach to the station ahead or behind. Your train may be late, or maybe you have to wait for a long time if we follow the local time. So in order to avoid such confusion of local time, we have adopted a system based on central meridian of a country. Based on central meridian of that country. The time calculated based on central meridian of that country is called the Indian Standard Time. This is called standard time. This is called standard time. So local time and the standard time. Local time and standard time. Local time and standard time. So just now I told you, in order to avoid confusion of local time, we have adopted a system based on the central meridian of a country. The meridian which almost run to the center of that country, time is calculated. Such time we call the standard time. Such time we call the standard time. So what is the standard time of India? What is the standard time of India? The standard time of India is based on longitude running through the central or middle of the country. Through it pass through the Allahabad, whose value is 82.5 degree. 82.5 degree east. We have adopted these lines of longitude as the standard meridian, since is passed through the middle of the country. Allahabad, what we call at presently the Prayag. On the basis of this central meridian, we find out the time of any place located within the country. This time based on this central meridian is called Indian Standard Time, IST. Indian Standard Time. Like local time, Indian Standard Time do not vary place to place. No need you have to adjust if you move, if you travel from east to west, because our clock adjusted based on the central meridian which pass through the Allahabad. This is the standard meridian of our country. So there is many advantages of standard meridian. Similarly, there are some demerits, there are some disadvantages if we follow the local time. So in order to avoid any confusions of local time, we have adopted the standard time or based on central meridian. Next, another important thing, the time zone. What is called the time zones? Time zones. The country like India, it is not a huge country, it is not a big country. We have only one time zone. We have only one time zone. What is the time zone? This is the demarcated area within that time zone having the same time. If we move from one time zone to another time zone, we have to adjust our clock within the same country. If the country huge east-west longitudinal differences, for example, Canada, a huge country, Russia, a huge country, United States of America, huge country, they have more than one time zone. That means within the same country, if we move from one area to another area, one time zone to another time zone, we have to adjust our clock with the same country. This is called time zone. There are 24 time zones across the world. How many? 24 time zones across the world. So the countries like Russia, the countries like Canada, the countries like USA have more than one time zone. It is not like India, have only one time zone. They have more than one time zone. Why? Because of large, huge east and west longitudinal differences or extent. Okay, another important thing now I am going to discuss, that is the international deadline, IDL, international deadline, the line with 180 degree east or west is called international deadline. Whenever this line, whenever we will cross this line, this 180 degree east or west line, not only we have to adjust our clock, but also we have to adjust our calendar. On that particular line, 180 degree, the time difference will be more or less 12 hours. 1 degree makes difference of 4 minutes. Then 180 degree makes difference of how much? 180 into 4. 720 minutes or 12 hours. Whenever we will cross this 180 degree line, we have to either gain 1 day or we have to lose 1 day. If we travel from east, we will gain 1 day. If we travel from west, we have to subtract 1 day or we have to lose 1 day. Accordingly, we have to adjust our calendar. Where is the significance of international deadline? The main significance of international deadline, whenever we cross that line, we have to adjust our calendar, either adding 1 day or subtracting 1 day. If we travel from east, we have to add 1 day. If we travel from west, we have to lose 1 day. But this international deadline, you mind here, this international deadline is not a straight line, it is zigzag. Which means in some places the international deadline become bends in order to avoid some landmass, especially in the Bering Strait between the Siberian and the Alaska. If you look at the map of Russia, there are two regions, Alaska and Siberia, and between these two places there is a Bering Strait. So in the Bering Strait, the lines become a zigzag. Even in the New Zealand, Tonga, Fiji, there are some lines where the international deadline, instead of straight, become a zigzag to avoid the same different date within the same country. So here is the significance of international deadline. I hope that all you have understood what I discussed till now. One more thing is left, need to be discussed. This is called great circle and the small circle. I told you the only equator is the great circle. Only equator is the great circle among the lines of latitudes. Except equator, all are small circle. But just now I told you the two diametrically opposite lines of longitudes makes a full circle, and every full circle divides the earth into two equal halves. In this sense, all lines of longitudes, when they meet to each other at the poles, converted into the full circle and they divide the earth into equal halves. In this sense, they are great circle. So what are the characteristics of the great circle? Number one, the great circle must pass through the center of the earth. Secondly, pass or touch the center of the earth. Second important features, they are this great circle intersecting between the Earth circle and the center of the earth, The third important things, that all the great circles are bisect at each others. So these are important features of the great circle. What are the use of great circle? The main importance of great circle, the main uses of great circle, especially it followed, the great circle routes followed by the airbuses. Also the navies, they follow the great circle routes. If they follow the great circle routes, both time and the fuel they can save, and directly they can reach from one great circle to another place, which is connected by one great circle. Suppose Kolkata to Mumbai or Kolkata to Colombo, simply one great circle we follow, they will reach. No need to move to another places. So both time and the fuel save. That's why they follow the great circles. These are called great circle rules. The meteorologists also use the great circle to determine the climate of the places. So there are some important uses of the great circles. Except the great circle, all are the small circles. So today I have come to end of your second chapter from geography as per your syllabus prescribed by the council. Next day I am going to start the next chapter, third chapter, what we call the rotation and the revolution. Thank you, my dear students, for watching the class.